Hello everyone, welcome back to class. All right, so let me share my screen and we can get started with today's class. So first off, of course, we're going to do a homework check. So everyone grab your homework answer from last week and get them ready to send it into the group chat and you can read out loud your answer. All right, so the homework from last week was this writing assignment here. And we had the writing prompt. What are some common foods and activities involved with Chinese New Year? So, if you have your answer ready, you can just send it into the group chat and then I'll have you read out loud. So, does everyone have their homework ready? Serena, Elaine, Brady, Wesley, Allison, Rubia. If you have your homework ready from last week, you can send in your answer. Yes. Thank you, Allison. So you can read out loud your answer.
This time activities with my brother Ian and new friends. We played a game called Telephone. How it's played is that first someone will sit anywhere in a circle. Next, whoever is going first gets to think of a real life word like Rapunzel and whisper to someone's ear by going counterclockwise or the other way. Lastly, the last person will say the word that they heard or sounded like. I like this game because it helps me to communicate by whispering and having lots of fun. We ate vegetarian food like hot pot, uh, cooking broccoli, carrots, mushrooms, tofu, and corn.
Yes, great job reading out loud, Allison. I like how detailed your answer is. And so, just some corrections if maybe Dr. Joe Academy didn't give you those corrections would be, of course, you have first in your sentence here, third sentence. So, we don't need to capitalize first since it's not the start of a sentence. As well, good job including the commas after you're listing out the types of hot pot cooking. So, great job including that. And also just remember to include the such as as well as it, such as and whisper it to someone's ear. So what are you whispering? You whisper back this word, so you whisper it to someone's ear. And then or the other way. So just don't forget some of the and it, those articles words. All right, so Brady, you can read out loud your answer.
Uh, some common foods and activity involved with Chinese New Year is making dumplings with family, which is exciting and good exercise. Also, there is hot pot where you boil the food and it tastes really good. Another Another amazing thing is you get red envelopes from older relatives. Also, it's a great time to visit your family. Honestly, Chinese New Year is good in every aspect.
Yes, good job, Brady. I like how you included aspect, so a nice word, nice vocab word there, as well as just don't forget the comma after honestly. So usually you would have like a comma after there since that's a transition word. And also, I like how you detailed the different activities that people do during Chinese New Year. So good job including all of these different activities. So Rubia, you can read out loud your answer.
Chinese New Year is a traditional festival that can be tracked back about 3,500 years ago. Chinese New Year has evolved over a long period of time that its customs have undergone long developmental process. The first recorded Chinese New Year celebration dates back to the Warring State period. Lucy Lucy Qingqiu records that the Qing state held a ritual to exorcist development demons and disease the last day of the year, called Dano. The day where the festival happens, people eat traditional foods such as orange, 年糕, 糖葫芦, shrimp, and fish. And if you're very rich, you may get a chance of eating a Manchu banquet. This is the huge banquet of at least 108 dishes that combines the food characteristics of the Manchus and the Han people. It originated in the Qing dynasty. It was originally a banquet held by the Yangzhou officials and gentry to welcome the Emperor Kangxi when he visited the south of Yangzhou River. And now it seems like I've already talked a lot about Chinese New Year, but actually there's still many of the different traditions that I haven't talked about. So waiting for you to find out.
Good job, Rubia. So I love how detailed your answers are, as well as including specific facts that could be backed up. So if you want to be even more official, you can include the resources. So you can reference where exactly you got this information from, and that can be further taught in future lessons. But basically, you can have in commas in brackets at the very end of the sentence, or maybe at the middle or beginning of the sentence, like according to Smith and Paul, comma 2015, and then you can go on to blah blah blah. Say the paper mentioned about blah blah blah. So that could be a way to reference back the specific paper or specific article that you got this information from. But otherwise, very nicely done, very detailed. And also, your concluding sentence here leaves food for thought for the reader. So inspires the reader to continue learning about the Chinese culture. So great job having a leading sentence at the end. All right, Serena, you can read out loud your answer.
Some common foods and activities for Chinese New Year are fish, dumplings, noodles, and rice ball. Some examples for Chinese games are dragon dances because it is a common dance in China. I like Chinese New Year because I can get red packets and light lanterns.
Great job, Serena. So good detailed answer, as well as including a variety of different activities and food and examples. So good job including all of that. So of course, for future reference, if you want to add in more details, you can explain such as some of the dumplings that people will eat. Are they maybe meat dumplings, pork dumplings, and do you make it by yourself or do you usually go out to a restaurant to eat? So if you want to include more details, more sentences, you can do so as well. All right, so if anyone else wants to send in their answer, you can do so. But if not, we can just move on to the next part. All right, so for now, I'll move to the next part then. So for today's lesson, we have this quote of the day here where it's talking about fame. So, fame for fame's sake is toxic. Some people want that with no boundaries. It's unhealthy. By Annie Lennox. Okay, so based on this quote, what do you think this quote means, especially talking about fame? Do you think fame is good or a bad thing? And you can give an example that shows that maybe fame is a bad thing, or you can even give an example showing that fame can be a good thing as well. Okay. And you can even answer if you agree with this quote or if you disagree with this quote. And I'll put this quote into the chat as well. So I'll give everyone 5 minutes to think of their answers, write it out, and then you can send it to the group chat. Okay, so time's up, everyone. If you have your writing ready and done, you can send it in the group chat. And if not, you can start wrapping up your sentences, finish off your last one or two sentences, and send in whatever you do have so far. All right, so Brady, thank you for sending in your answer. I'll add this in. Okay, so I like your take on fame, Brady. Great job. And I like how you gave an example. And of course, anytime you have an if statement here, you're always going to have to put a comma. So if blah, 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 this happens, then this is the result, or then this is the cause and effect. So you would then put a comma here and you can then continue on with your sentence, or maybe have a then this will happen. Okay, so I would say first define the quote and what you think it means. So I would say first do this before you go into your personal answer. Personal opinion. So here, if you get met in public, probably not met, but rather if you get noticed in public. So usually you would say notice in terms of recognizing or maybe recognized by the public or by strangers. That means that, oh, they remember you from an article or from social media or something, then it would be noticed or recognized. And again, with the comma, we'll put this here after an if statement. Okay, so good ending sentence to conclude your opinion. All right, moving on to the next person now. Serena, thank you. Okay, so I like how you're first defining what you think this quote means. Don't do the right thing. Very interesting answer here. So, for example, so here, not on this quote, but I agree with this quote. So here, nice conclusion sentence, but also here, not watch for your boundaries. Doesn't sound too correct. It sounds a bit off, a bit awkward. So instead, let's correct it and say, if you want to be famous, watch out for your boundaries, or you can say, make sure to have strong boundaries. So I'll just say, ending part, you can say, okay. And here you can include a colon, but typically if you're including a colon, it's when you're listing out things like these are the things that I bought for my birthday, colon, and then you list it out. So here we don't actually need to use a colon because you're not listing out things. Rather instead, we can use a comma. And here you can say, instead of but, your second part of this sentence here is not contradicting your first half. So instead of saying, but I know a lot of celebrities don't do that, you can say, I and then make a new sentence. I agree, or I know a lot of celebrities that don't do that. And then you can say because, or you can explain why, and you can say what exactly they don't do. Maybe they used to, maybe it could be they used to smoke, gamble, and waste money, but then they don't anymore. So you can even mention examples where people have changed. Okay, next up that we have Rubia and Allison and Elaine. All right, so quickly going through your answers. Growth, fame is one thing that you will always want. Fame will bring you money. Okay, so here I agree with this quote. Okay, new sentence. And then you can even mention, define what the quote says or means. So first you define what the quote means or what the quote is trying to get at, and then you give your personal response or personal opinion afterwards. And then you can say new sentence as well. Money, friendship, and power. Okay, so I like how you mentioned about cycle of popular. So I would say, explain more about this cycle. Because to the average reader, they might not understand what exactly is this popular cycle. So what does it mean? How is it a good thing or a bad thing? Where does it start? And how does it connect into a circle? So just explain more about this cycle. And then because leaving it on this one cycle of popular as the concluding sentence makes it very confusing for the reader if they don't understand what exactly is this
Wait,
cycle of popular.
but I
Oh,
just mentioned it like a sentence before.
okay. So here you're explaining, you never explain the cycle of popular. It will cause the cycle. You say it will start the cycle of popular by having people follow you after you did get fame from something unhealthy. But explain more about this cycle so you can go into more details in your next sentences and say it will cause maybe you to continue doing more unhealthy and more extreme behavior, such as before you were only doing one bad thing a week, maybe just stealing a little bit of gum or food, but now you're stealing more expensive things such as watch, jewelry, things like that. So you can explain more about what this cycle is. Okay, moving on to Allison for now. Good job defining what this quote means. Okay, so again, be specific. What is that? To the reader that's reading your answer, they won't know what exactly is that is. So be specific. And instead of not healthy, you can just say unhealthy. Need to be. Oh, so here, explain what you mean. So what exactly do some famous people need fame to be healthy and to not give up? So I would just say explain what you mean over here. Try to make sure to look out for your boundaries. Yes, good job concluding the meaning of this quote. And if you have more time, you can even add in sentences of your personal opinion. And you did add in a personal opinion as well. So you can say more sentences about your opinion, like why you disagree and what parts you think could be bad or could is something that you've experienced yourself. So you can even mention some more reasons or some more details explaining your opinion. Yes, Elaine?
I think I add more. The last one I send you.
Okay, will come check. Okay, I'll put back your new answer. Thank you, Elaine. In my opinion, this quote means that don't always be mad. Okay, so just be careful of spelling and capitalization. Okay. So anytime you have this quote said or a dialogue, you can use quotation marks. So anytime you have said and then you go into your quote, you're going to first put a comma after said and then put quotation marks over here. And then we treat the inside sentence inside of the quotation marks as a new sentence. So we can capitalize the first word. Okay, so also be careful of repetition. Okay, so just over here, you're repeating some sentences here. So make sure that you don't repeat sentences because then it makes it a bit confusing and also a bit um, boring for readers to read about because then they think, oh, you're just saying the same thing again and again. Where's the new part? Oh, there's no new part, or maybe your new part gets lost because you're repeating some of the same things. So try not to say unhealthy thing, mix up your words. You can use this is a unhealthy thing, and then next part you can say is this can cause negative effects or not positive effects in your life. So using other vocab words would be better than repeating the same words. All right. So for Wesley over here, an extremity. Hmm. So very nice use of extremity here, but I think it's not exactly appropriate to use in this sentence because here you're saying this quote means that everything people want needs an extremity. So it doesn't quite make sense to say an extremity here. Instead, you can say thing people want needs an can have an extreme, I think is what you're trying to say. Or become extreme. Okay. So I like how you use an example. Good example. Explain more in details, such as you mean that everything. So what exactly would the thing be? And you can also explain what are the consequences? What are good or bad consequences? So you can give examples for both good and bad consequences. So in this case, you're giving an extreme example here. You're saying how this person wants the prize of the sport meet and then ended up robbing the champion. Then he got caught by police. So past tense of catch is not with an ed, but rather caught like this. Okay, so just you mentioned a bad consequence, but what's a good consequence? And usually we also don't use good consequence, but rather good results, because consequence as a word by itself already means bad results. So no need to say good consequence, but rather good results. All right, so that concludes our answer for this quote. And coming back to this quote, yes. So just discussing it really briefly here, fame for fame's sake is toxic. So people that are just trying to want become famous just so that they can be famous, that itself is very toxic, very dangerous. So some people want that with no boundaries. It's unhealthy. If you think of social media, such as TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat, you see a lot of people wanting to be on social media apps and they might do dangerous things or illegal things just so that they have more followers or more people watching them on that social media app. So doing that is unhealthy and dangerous. And they do this because they just want more fame. They want more people to recognize and respect them, but this is actually quite toxic. So having no boundaries means that this person in their search for fame and they have no boundaries by, again, not making sure that they are safe or not making sure that they don't do anything illegal. So maybe at first they do small pranks like, oh, just pouring water on a person or maybe just throwing food at a person. And then that can escalate, that can become greater to even more illegal activities, such as stealing cars or setting a house on fire, for example. All right, so that's a brief discussion of this quote. Moving on to a quick quiz now. Let's do question one over here. What type of sentence is this? I hope it snows 10 inches on Saturday. So you can send your answer directly to me in the group chat. And remember to number your answers, such as 1A, 2B, 3C. All right, so good job for those that sent in their answers. Just make sure to send it directly to me so it gives a chance for other students to answer. But yes, those that answered A, you are correct. So we know it's exclamatory because it has an exclamation mark, so lots of emotions. Number two, which of these is a complete sentence? Yes, exactly. Those that said A is correct. So we see the other ones. This has subjects, but it's missing the action or maybe the actual event of the sentence. Main part of the sentence is missing. And for the third sentence, C over here, it's missing a pronoun or the subject. Came home from school today. So who did? And also all these people, what did they do? What happened to them? We don't know. So these two sentences are incomplete. Okay, number three. Which sentence is correct? Oh, thank you, Allison. All right, so thank you for those that sent in your answer. Yes, most people are getting it correctly. Okay, so, oh, thank you, Rubia. Yes, so for number three, D is the correct answer. So it is not A because he was hit bad in the game last week. The bad over here is not the correct tense. We need it to be with an ly to show that it was adverb. So bad over here is just an adjective, but we need to change it into an adverb, and we can do that by adding an ly. He was hit badly. So how was he hit? Was it good? Was it bad? So in this case, he was hit badly. All right. Number 4. Which sentence uses a comma correctly? All right, so thank you for those that are sending in your answers. So we have a bit of mixed answers going on so far. All right, so for number 4 here, this one's a bit tricky since it is talking about dialogue and quotation marks and the proper use of commas and quotation marks. So for number 4, the correct final answer is C. So I see a lot of people putting B, but the comma is actually inside of the quotation marks in this case. I am tired. So the comma is kind of used in place of a period, and we don't put a period inside just because the period is at the end of this sentence. And for the full sentence, instead of using a period inside the quotation mark, when it's just a statement like this, we use a comma. And this is especially true if you're reading a novel, such as nonfiction or fiction books. You might see further dialogue where this person says, I am tired, he muttered. I'm also wanting to go to bed at 9 p.m. tonight. So that could be further dialogue, and so that's why there might be a comma and then a further dialogue. All right, so number 5 now. Erica was asked to spell the word cat. She spelled it K-A-T. Erica misspelled the word. The prefix miss most likely means which option best suits this prefix? Okay, thank you, Brady and Allison. So prefix is talking about usually maybe the first syllable or two, usually 1 to 2 syllables of a word. That is the prefix, and in this case, prefix MIS, miss. Okay, so I have some mixed answers here. Final answer is B, wrong. So misspelled in this case, so we know that spelled or spelled is the root word. That's the main word, and the prefix we're adding is MIS, miss, and it's to indicate it was most likely meaning wrong. So it was spelled not correctly. Okay, and if you think of some other words using MIS prefix, such as misspoke, so here in this case, spoke meaning past tense of speak. And this case, you misspoke, so you didn't mean to speak, or maybe you spoke incorrectly, so you misspoke. All right, so let's move on to the next part now. So quickly, the recommended book that I have is called The Sherlock Society, and I will have Rubia, can you read out this whole paragraph here?
Okay. In the tradition of Nancy Drew, 4 kids and 1 grandfather in Miami tackle the decades-old mystery in this first book in action. Hackett and funny Sherlock Society middle grade series from New York Times bestseller. Edgar Award. Winning author James Pointy. Siblings Alex and Zoe Sherlock take their last name as inspiration when he's choosing a summer job. After all, starting a detective agency has to be better than babysitting, lawn mowing, or clean out the attic. Their friends Lena and Abbott Buckhorn and Yadi and Aspirin cinema cinematographer joined the enterprise, and Alex and Zoe's retired reporter grandfather offers up his sweet aquamarine Catholic con, con, convertible and storage unit full of cold cases. The group's first hit is the long lost treasure supposedly hidden near their hometown Miami. Their investigation into local dealings of famed gang- gangster AI captain leads them to a remote island in the middle of the Everglades where they find the alarming evidence hinting at corporation. Together with Grandpa's know-how and the kids' intelligence, plus some really slick ga- gadgets, can the Sherlock Society root out the conspiracy?
Nice job, Rubia. So good job in your reading pace and reading out loud, clear voice. Great job for that. So here, just some words to be careful of includes conspiracy. So conspiracy is kind of like a rumor about government. Usually it's rumors about the government, such as, oh, the government maybe actually did this. So it's basically a rumor that people really believe in about the government. So maybe it could be something that they did, like, oh, the government covered up the actual landing of the moon or man's landing on the moon. So maybe it was actually faked. That is one conspiracy theory. Another word to be careful of is packed. So here, action packed. Anytime you see a hyphen between two words, usually in this case, it's kind of making it like one word, one adjective together. So in this case, action packed, long lost, as well as here, it's different than this hyphen. So here, it is actually an M dash. Let me write this down. Which is a longer line and it's like two lines together instead of just one. Okay, so here you're kind of using this longer dash in place of a comma. So here you're doing, instead of saying comma or brackets, you say longer dash plus some really slick gadgets and then dash again, continuing on with your rest of your sentence. It's kind of like you're adding in a little bit extra details or extra information to what you just mentioned. So here, again, know how this is a hyphen which is different than an M dash. And M dash is this over here. It's longer. Okay, so some other words to be careful of includes boring. So boring over here, as well as attic and avid and aspiring. Just be careful of these. I'll define them in the next slide. And also, good job pronouncing cinematographer. So here, this one's a tricky word, but you would assume it would be cinematographer, but it's actually pronounced as ci- cinematographer. Oh, even I'm getting confused. But anyways, this word is quite tricky to pronounce, but it means someone who loves to maybe produce movies, so always have a camera in hand recording things. So you call this person a cinematographer. All right. And lastly, be careful of corruption. So corruption here means when people are doing illegal activities within maybe a business or maybe within the government. So we call that corruption. When they're doing illegal or bad things, it's corruption. Okay. So next up that we have is about the author. But first, I will define what cinematographer should be pronounced as, which I believe I just said. Let's hear it.
Cinematography.
So cinematography is with a Y at the end, but if you're pronouncing it as a person, a pronoun, or not pronoun, but a noun here, should be cinematographer for instead of re. All right, but let's continue on for the about the author part. For the first paragraph here, can I get Elaine, can you read out loud this first paragraph?
Yes, James Ponte in the New York Times bestseller author of three middle grade books, Center, The Dead City, traveled about a sentence so shocking that police the undead who lived Bethlehem, New York City. The Israel award-winning framed scenes about a part of Charlotte 20 who solved mystery in Washington, D.C. and the tall new city spies about an unlikely span of five kids from the ordinary the world who formed and allocate
Elite?
elite
Mm-hmm.
MI6 spy team.
Great job, Elaine. So I love how you recognize some words that you at first said incorrectly, so you corrected yourself. So good job doing so, such as squad, as well as unlikely and MI6. Good job pronouncing that as well. So here, elite means something that is superior or kind of like upper class or better. So that is called elite. All right, so also, tween, just be careful of tweens. So this is kind of between children and teenagers. So they call that in between age, tween age. So it's around 10 to, or maybe between 8 to 12 years old. Around that age is kind of like tween age, is what they say, because you're kind of almost to teenager, but you're not quite a teenager. So they say tween. So either between 8 to 12 or maybe 10 to 12, something like that. All right. Continuing on with the second paragraph over here. Can I get Wesley, can you read out loud this paragraph?
James grew up in Atlantic Beach, Florida, and lives in Orlando. He's a die-hard fan of the Boston Red Sox, the USC Trojans, and the Italian
Italian.
Italian national uh, soccer team. He loves travel, riding, and spending time with his amazing family.
Yes, good job, Wesley. Good reading voice and being clear. So just some words to be careful of includes like names such as Florida here, as well as Trojans. So USC Trojans. So Trojans is just um ancient Rome or ancient Greek word, and it's meant to say like another word for soldier, a type of soldier, and these were called Trojan. And lastly, be careful of Italian here. So just Italian in this case, when you're putting a nationality for where a person is from, where their like nation is from, or where what their nation is, you would say instead of Italy, they are Italian. So this person from Italy. So it's turning Italy, the country's name, into a person from that country, and you would call that Italian. All right. So we have that for the US as well. So it would be American, or from Canada, it would be Canadian. From Mexico would be Mexican, and so on. And of course, if you're from Japan, it wouldn't be Japanian, but rather Japanese. So the ending word does differ a little for some countries, and that's okay as well, because also you have to make sure that it is um, talking about either a nation or either ethnicity. So when you say he is a Japanese person, are you talking about he is from Japan, or he is actually ethnicity wise Japanese? So that's why you have to sometimes be careful. All right, so moving on to the specific unit vocabulary words I have just from these recommended book and author would be die hard, an adjective. It means someone who is very determined or loyal, or stubbornly resistant to change. So this person is very not wanting to change, or maybe they're very, very loyal to this one thing. So usually it's referred to people that really, really like a certain artist, a certain singer, or a certain band. So you might say they are a die-hard fan, such as over here. This boy is a die-hard fan of the pop band One Direction. Next word is avid, and it's an adjective. It means having or showing a keen, so means a very sharp or very high interest in or enthusiasm for something. Example here, tens of thousands of avid fans rushed into the stadium to watch their favorite artist perform. So again, it's similar to Die Hard, where this person is showing a very great interest or enthusiasm for something. Lastly, we have aspiring, which is an adjective, and it means someone who hopes or has dreams or ambitions towards becoming a specific type of person. So, for example, if you said this aspiring singer, it means that this person wants to be a singer. So, anytime you have aspiring and then the noun, it means that that person wants to be the noun. So wants to be a singer, and so you call them aspiring singer or aspiring athlete. So it means that person wants to become this or hopes to one day achieve this title or reputation. All right, so moving on to the writing now. So you're going to create 3 sentences using these vocab words. So just 3 sentences using these vocab words, or even better is if you can combine it all into like 1 or 2 sentences using all of these words, that would be great. But if not, you can do 3 separate sentences. So try to come up with your own sentences. You can maybe write a story, have your sentences connect with one another, and make sure at that it kind of all flows together. Okay, I'll say 2 to 3 sentences using these vocab words. Make sure each sentence flows together. All right, so I'll give everyone 4 or maybe 3 minutes. So once you're done, you can send in your answer directly to me in the group chat. All right, so everyone start wrapping up your sentences. You have around 1 minute left. Okay, thank you, Serena. I'll put in your answer as well as Brady. Oh, okay. So good job, Serena, using die-hard fan, aspiring. So just missing avid, but here you can say Bob is a die-hard baseball fan, and instead you can say, and he's aspiring to be like Manny.
I added another sentence.
Ah, okay. I'll look at that. Okay. And here, Manny usually is spelled with two N's. Okay, let me add in your next sentence, Serena. Bob wanted to be an avid baseball player just like Manny. Okay, good job, Serena. All right, so just remember anytime you have A or E or I, O, U, Y, so vowels, you're going to use AN, the article AN instead of just A. Okay, so next up, Brady. This person called Ali, who is a diehard fan of a band. Oh, so incomplete sentence. You have this person called Ali, who is a diehard fan. So it's kind of like if you just ended this sentence at this person called Ali. So you have to continue more, you have to continue this sentence. You can't just end it here because it wouldn't be complete on its own. Who is a diehard fan of a band? What band? You can say. Okay, let me quickly just grab my charger though, since I am running low on battery. And we are nearing the end of class, so everyone send in whatever you do have so far. I will quickly also go over the homework and then let you all go on with the rest of your day and enjoy the weekend as well. So quickly, what band? You can mention the band, otherwise it would not be a complete sentence. She is so into the band that she has avid dreams. Good job using avid. Be becoming one of the band members. Ah, not only her, but multiple other people are aspiring to be them. So good job using aspiring and avid as well. So just make sure to mention the band name just because it would be incomplete if you just left it as this person called Ali, who is a diehard fan of a band. So what band? Okay, let me add in Wesley and Yvain. Okay, people say you are a diehard person, but I think so you can't use diehard person because no one is a fan of a person or just person in general. It doesn't make sense. So you have to say maybe a specific subject or a specific passion, such as diehard artist or maybe diehard um conservative person or a religious person. So you have to mention like a specific interest or passion. Right? But I think you are also an aspiring avid person. So what aspiring avid person? So what person, what subject specifically. So what are they aspiring to be or become? What do they want to do? You don't have any specific subject, so mention that. Okay, so for Elaine, the specific artist was only 19 years old when she wrote her first song. Okay. Now she's 20. She already has thousands of diehard fans, plural. Okay, so just be careful of some spelling mistakes as well as making sure you have proper punctuation. But otherwise, good use, including the vocab words. And Rubia, I will include your answer here. My friend is a diehard fan or an avid fan. Nice job using diehard fan as an avid as well. Avid fan of Sherlock Holmes. So again, Holmes is capitalized because that is his last name. Avid fan of Sherlock Holmes theory. Ooh, okay. So she was aspiring to become a writer. So you would say became, if it's a, like what you just wrote, that would be past tense. All right, so this concludes our writing for today. I will quickly go to homework now. So homework for today, no reading passage, or we didn't get a chance to do reading passage, so I'll cut out the reading questions, but rather you're going to do a writing assignment here. So imagine you are a news reporter. So if you are in the US right now, it is snowing a lot, so maybe there's a lot of car accidents. You can look through the news and choose an article to summarize. So you're going to maybe choose something that you have an interest in, something that is recent. So I'm going to say in the last year, choose something recent within the last year. Okay, so you're going to choose an article and then summarize it. And then next week at the start of class, you're going to become a news reporter and present this article. So, of course, as a news reporter, you wouldn't be able to read the entire article word for word because that would take too long. So instead, you have to summarize it. So you have to summarize it to around 5 to 7 sentences and use descriptions and details to add to your writing, but also be specific. Because again, you don't want to be too long and take too much time or make the reader or listener confused. So you have to be specific, but get to the point. Okay, be specific and get to the point. All right, so I look forward to hearing your articles that are summarized for next week's class. And of course, you can submit your answer into the forum on Dr. Joe Academy. So I'll stop sharing here and I'll let you all go on with the rest of your day, everyone. Okay, so see you all next week. Bye. Let me know if you have any questions as well.
Bye.
Bye.